The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices. The views and opinions expressed by host and guests are their own, and their appearance on the show does not imply any endorsement or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
and learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voices.
We have a lot of stuff going on between now and November, and some of it may be confusing, some of it may be surprising all around. But today we're going to be talking about the special election again, and I'm probably going to talk about this at least every other day or twice a day when we're on the special election that is happening in the 4th Senate District, which is to replace Senator was Senator Lena Taylor, but Judge Lena Taylor now her seat. We'll talk about the election dates. We will talk about how that impact. And also we want to talk a little bit about how do we get our information? What is real? What is not? And I just want to hear from people, 414-444-5250. Where do you get your information? Because I really want to know, and people may not call, they may call, but when you are trying to get your information about the candidates, what do you do? Do you go to their websites? Do you go to, do you read newspaper articles? What do you do? And what is real? What is it not? But we'll get to that a little bit later. I hope to say feel better, Latoya. She is under the weather today. And
we miss Latoya.
She'll be back on most likely tomorrow. Letting y'all know we are going to be taking a Wisconsin Voices and Be a Voice will be taking a little bit of a hiatus next week. So we will be doing some rebroadcast of shows. So if you have a show that you would like us to rebroadcast, let us know. When you click on Amplify Your Voice on WNOV, on our website, WisconsinVoices.org, you want to hear a show that we did before, just let us know. But other than that, we'll be picking the shows, and we will be back on the air live on June. What is that? So long ago, June 3rd.
3rd, yeah. Because
then the 4th CD has some stuff, election stuff going on. So let's talk about I want to kind of do this in twofold so people don't get confused. Normal elections, and then let's exclude special elections. Normal elections, the primary is August 13th this year, and then the general is in November, on November 5th. That is that. And so if you want to run, you would collect signatures. And that usually goes, I think it went from April 15th this year or close to it to June 3rd. Those are for all the people who are running for the 2-year terms of assembly. All of the assembly are up. And then the even number Senate seats, those are up. So those are the two things that we're right now we're specifically talking about the state assembly and Senate seats. Okay, so if Senator Taylor was in and she was still in her office, she would be running for re-election. as well as Senator LaTanya Johnson. And I'm specifically talking about the Milwaukee area, so we can just kind of get a picture of it. So those seats in that election will be August 13th and November 5th. But in the midst of all that, when Judge Taylor took her judgeship in January, a special election had to be called, and the governor decided to do it now. So with that special election, and that is only for the people who used to be represented by Senator Taylor, or Judge Taylor now. That election, the general election, is July 30th. Now that we know there's a primary, that primary will be on July 2nd. So this is a partisan seat. So when any more than one person runs for any particular party, there has to be a primary. So if two Democrats run, there'll be a primary. If there's 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans, there'll be a primary. If there was just 1 Democrat and 1 Republican, then there wouldn't be a primary and it would just go to the general.
Right.
In this particular case, as of right now that I know, there is going to be a primary on the Democratic side. There is at least 2 people running for that special election seat, which would go from up until January, when the new person for that seat would be in.
And there could be more. Because the petitions run through June 1st.
Right, June. Yeah. So the signatures are due June 3rd. So that is why this is very important. So as we go, now as I explain this, there is going to be a primary because there's the special election in the 4th Senate district. And that is because 2 Democrats for sure are running. And that is now State Representative Lakeisha Myers and State Representative Dora Drake. So what this means is that the 4th Senate district, the people who were represented by Lena, will go to the polls on July. I'm sorry, I'm missing my calendar now. They will go to the polls July 2nd.
Yep.
Now, I'm trying to give you a lot of information and I don't want to confuse you. If there is not another party to have if another party does not put somebody up to run in that special election, and whoever comes out of the primary for the Democrats will basically fill that seat. They'll wait until the primary, the general election on July 3rd. That person is the only person on the ballot, so therefore
by default they win.
By default they win. Now, that is that. But those same 2 people, and it could be more, are also running to fulfill the full term seat of Senator Taylor that will start in January.
So we're talking about 2 completely separate elections.
2 completely separate elections. Now, it could be that one person wins the special election, and then another person could win the election for her full term. So they could be two different people, but they're both, those two people as of now and right now, those are the two people that are running. This is so confusing. I understand that, but we're really going to try to make sure we give everybody information that they need. 414-444-5250. Now, Wisconsin Voices, we don't endorse, but we do talk about voter registration. The reason these dates are so important is by state law, 20 days, well, all of us either have to do a mail-in registration or online registration to register to vote, or you can go to your local clerk's office. By state law, 20 days before an election, they do not accept mail-in ballots or online registrations. So that means 20 days before an election, if you want to register to vote, you have to go to your clerk's office, or you have to register at the time you vote in early voting or the day on the election.
Right.
So it's a lot, isn't it?
It is. And especially somebody coming from a different state and kind of seeing all this play out this year. It's a lot to take in and a lot to keep track of. But, thankfully we have people like Wisconsin Voices out there putting the information out there and keeping everybody informed and know when to vote, when to register. And it's just a great time to get out and register right now. I mean, if you're out there and you're not registered, you can go online and register today.
Here's the issue with this. Normally, if we did not have the special election, registrations would cut off July 19th. And that is the case right now. But for the 4th Senate District, registration for mail-in or online cuts off June 12th.
And that's coming up quick.
That's coming up extremely quick. June 12th is the last day you can mail in or online register to vote. This deals, again, this is the 4th CD. So it's the eastern part of Milwaukee. And I'm roughly giving you these. All of the city of Glendale, all the city or village of Shorewood, and parts of Wauwatosa. And I'm not sure, but it might be a little snippet of Brown Deer. I believe it's parts of Brown Deer as well. So anybody who was represented by Senator Taylor, your last day to online or mail-in registration is June 12th. Now, if you have moved since the last election, or you haven't voted in the last 4 years, I would highly suggest you register to vote. If you need help with any of that, please call us or, send us an email at info@wisconsinvoices.org. Call our number or, whatever you can do. If you need help, please call us. We'll get you to the right spot, because you can't vote if you're not registered.
That's right.
And if you don't know what to do to register, we'll give you that information. 414-444-5250. This is a complicated, election time, especially with the elections literally going back to back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is horrible for the smaller community. This particular special election is horrible for the smaller communities who don't have a whole staff to do elections. I know Glendale is having it, kind of a hard time with this Shorewood, Wauwatosa, because especially Wauwatosa, where they only have a few blocks in this district, or a small portion of this district, and the other rest of it is in another Senator LaTanya Johnson's district, and they have to run a election for even just a small group of people. At least Glendale, it's a citywide. At least, Shorewood, it's a village-wide election.
Right.
But also, this is a special election, and please, if you want to be a poll worker, call the Village of Shorewood and talk to them about being a poll worker in Shorewood, or call the city of Glendale number to be a poll worker.
And they ask you when you register if you'd like to be a poll worker. So if you haven't registered yet, you're going to register. That's going to be one of the questions that they're going to ask you if you're interested in being a poll worker.
Yeah, because this is a special election, and people know that they, on a regular election, oh, I'm going to be off on August 13th. I'm going to spend all day there. I think this is like a 12-hour day, or maybe even 13-hour day, because they have to polls open up at 7 and they close at 8. And then, you have to be there before, and then to help clean up or whatever you have to do. So that's a long day, and municipalities do pay. 414-444-5250. This is, I don't know. This is it's so confusing, and we do this work, and it's still a little confusing for us.
Yeah.
In the near future, we're going to have someone from the Wisconsin Elections Commission come and really talk about the elections and what the process is and how we do it, because I think we really need to understand when it is, what it is. We keep talking about February, April, August, November, but now a loop has been thrown in. And this goes by state statute.
Yeah. And even, with all the money being pumped into the state, with it being a battleground state on the national stage, it's just adding that much kind of more confusion, I think, to we have an extra election. We have more elections this year. And then, with it being a battleground state, with the 4th district, with the special election, I just think it's a lot for folks to take in. So hopefully we can get somebody from the election commission, like you said, because there's sometimes that I think even we get a little bit turned around sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I had a Friday. I had to call and get clarification, even though I think I know, I had to call and actually get clarification. We do have one of the people from the election. They will be coming on, and I have invited her on. So we're just going to set that date and then make sure it happens. But this is, I really am concerned that people will not be able to vote, or they will miss an election, or they will not be able to vote for their favorite candidate because they didn't know when the date is. So I'm going to repeat these dates. The primary for the special election for the Senate District number 4 is June 2nd. Or, I'm sorry, June 3rd. Wait, I'm sorry. Bear with me. This is so many days, and there's so many things going on. The election is July 2nd. It's the first Tuesday of July. That is when the primary is going to happen for the special election. The general election is July 30th. So just remember Tuesdays. All elections are Tuesdays. So this election. So again, the primary for the special election is July 2nd. The general is July 30th, 30.
And you need to register by June 20th. If you're gonna, or 12th if you're going to do it online.
Yes. If you're going to do it online, do it by June 12th.
Catch Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. as we focus on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org. Wisconsin Voices 3 pillars: protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, building community.
I want to know where do you get your information when it comes to elected officials? Do you go to their websites? Do you go and try to hear them speak? Do you invite them to places? Where do you usually go?
I think for me, my first stop is usually the website to see if they have a website created, because then I can go through and I can look at their platform and what issues, where they stand on certain issues, what issues are important to them and which ones they're really going to be pushing. Secondly, I think it's trying to get to those forums, right? And trying to listen to, what they have to say, maybe even ask a question if I can. Sometimes I think with media, we got to be careful when someone else is trying to tell us what someone else is for. It's kind of incumbent upon us to go get, for me, at least, this is my opinion, to go and see, and do the research myself and not let someone else tell me, well, hey, so-and-so's a good candidate. Well, what makes them a good candidate? I need to know that for myself. So starting with the website, starting with the, talking and going to the forums, and then relying on that media, I think for last.
And I have, I've been around a little bit, and I have seen some of the most beautiful, newspaper articles about a candidate, and then I've also seen some of the worst of the worst. And people are sitting there going, how do you figure out what is newsworthy, what isn't newsworthy? How all in all, and the reason I'm bringing this up is there is and I am not by any means, shape, or form endorsing any particular candidate, but as I was doing research for the show today, I saw that there was an article on WJN, or it was JS Online, in regard to State Representative Lakeisha Myers, and I'm not going to go into detail about it, but it was kind of and I'd have to say a hit job, only for the fact that it didn't talk about like her years of service or what she did. It was just about a bunch of negative information. Now, all of us, these politicians, and I don't know, and I really want people to say, politicians are not perfect. Right. We are not perfect in the least bit. Everybody has done something that if you bring it up could be, oh my goodness. I will, I'll tell you something about me. There was some kind of article, and I don't even remember when it was, but when I was running, and it had talked about me filing for bankruptcy. Well, how can she do this? And how can she be a leader? And she had filed for bankruptcy. Well, when you have $200,000+ of medical bills from when your child, who is no longer on this earth, and then your first child, who was born 3 months premature and stayed in the hospital from June until September, and then your second child lived a week. I'm sorry. She lived a week and then she passed away. There's a lot of medical bills between being in the NICU for 3 months is a lot. And the insurance we had was bad. It was a $500 deductible. And then it was, I believe it was 80-20 up to a certain amount. And then after that, it was 10% or 5% or something. After all those, added up, it's no way.
Yeah.
But the article was wrote like I was just not good with my money or anything like that. And I wrote something back in the comments and I was like, well, if you have to pay for 2 premature babies and their cost, go for it. And I never got hit back that again, but it shouldn't even, what would that have to do with me making decisions? Like, that was a personal thing that I had to go through for my own family. We put these electeds, like, they have to be perfect, or they don't have personal issues, or they don't. And I'm not saying if this article is true or not, but I love when people come out, or we let articles come out and we take it as truth.
Right.
Now, I remember I worked for, and I'm only talking about my experiences, so it's not gospel or anything like that. But I remember 2 years ago when the Senate race, there was an article on Mandela Barnes and they tried to hit him. They did an article on Sarah Gailuski and they hit her, but they didn't hit any of the other candidates. So I have seen times where they have, hit candidates, but not touch other ones. Who decides? Because I am pretty sure everybody has some kind of little something that could be scandalous in their, according to the newspaper articles or whatever.
Well, they endorse candidates. The newspapers commonly endorse candidates and will say you get behind a candidate and endorse them. So it's a little hard to trust. I'm not saying we can't trust all of them, but it's kind of hard to trust someone's word when they say we endorse this candidate.
And I don't know
local, but
right, but I don't. Yeah, national I do, but I don't know if like I read a lot on GS Online, so I don't know if they've ever really endorsed. I know the Shepherd Express endorses, and Community Journal, I believe, endorses, which is part of WNOV, I think. But how do you? That's the key. How do you find out? And then you have to wait to see. So if you just read the article or read an article, you see it, oh my goodness, that's so horrible. And then they respond, which on this particular thing, Representative Meyer has responded to the article. Again, I'm not going to read it because I'm not reading the article itself. I'm just talking about who decides what information we get. But she's responded, but what happens if somebody read the article in the Journal Sentinel but did not see her response? So and then till later. So they've made a judgment call. I think you should read it with things with a grain of salt and do your own research.
100%.
What do you guys think? 414-444-5250. Again, I'm not endorsing any candidates. I'm not saying I'm favoring any of them. What I'm saying is we need to figure out as a community what is real and what's not. I remember in the April elections, there was a lot of accusations thrown out. And even on the show where I had to say the views and opinions.
I was about to say right here on this show, some of that was aired out.
But what did we do? I mean, we just said, is that opinion a fact? They said that it was fact. So that is up to us to try to, if it's fact, then let's tell where the fact is. If not, don't say it.
Right.
If you don't have the proof behind anything that you're saying, then don't say it. I talk to my constituents all the time, and I tell them I am so not perfect in any shape or form. People who know me, I cuss like a sailor. I try not to. I try to be very professional, but that's just something that I do. Um, I rarely like to dress up in heels and dresses, and I usually have a sweatshirt and a baseball cap on. But I have let my constituent know the real me,
Mm-hmm.
and the people, I try to let them know that what you see is what you get. I love my constituents. I think they are amazing. I will fight for them. I mean, even in the Juneteenth or the 4th of July parade, I'm like, where's District 1? And, some of the other alders, we shouldn't be calling out, districts. It's all about Glendale. I'm like, nope, District 1, where are you? Because I'm very proud to represent them, and I want them to see that I am proud to represent them. But I'm not perfect. I don't think any politician's perfect. No one is, because they wouldn't be on this earth, because they would have been, depending on what your religious belief or not, either they're going to be called to glory, or, you have become a saint.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody walking on this earth is a saint yet.
Yeah.
If you're doing criminal activity, that's one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but everyday life things that happen, I don't know.
I don't, for my politicians, for my representatives, I don't want anyone that's perfect. I want somebody that's kind of went through it, somebody that's been through some stuff, so that they can understand the community that they serve a little bit better. And I think that that's a little bit more relatable when you have a politician or a representative that's more of the people rather than this illusion of perfection.
And that brings me to something that I had talked to. I think I either talked to, I don't know if it was Congresswoman Gwen Moore or Tammy Baldwin, or actually I even think I went to when I was one of the board members for Progressive Community Health Center. We went to lobby and do some advocacy work to Ron Johnson. I brought up an issue where Social Security. So my daughters, both of my daughters, were born premature. Jada, my daughter Jada, who should have been born September 23rd, was born June 24th. So that is almost at 27 weeks. She's 1 pound, 5 ounces, 7 ounces, something like that. And she was immediately put into Social Security disability because extreme preemie is considered a disability,
Mm-hmm.
which means that she qualified for whatever Social Security check or that the state or the federal government gave, but she was covered under Medicaid for that. Now, they don't, and that's up until she's deemed, have caught up.
Mm-hmm.
Or in my case, a lot of cases is when you make more money, and then you kind of money out of it.
Mm-hmm.
My second daughter, and I'm telling you this for a reason, my second daughter was born. She was supposed to be born in February, and she was born in October. She was born at 23 weeks. She lived 1 week, and then she passed 7 days later. Now with Jada, all of her medical were covered for the most part. All her birth to 3, all of that covered for almost the first year of her life, and it was okay. But what happened, and the reason part of my bankruptcy happened, is because it was May. It was May. I got a job in December because I needed to stay home with her for the first 6 months. And I mean, I fed her 3 times a day at the hospital. Like, I went there, I personally fed her. I didn't let anybody else feed her. And I was there 3 times a day, every single day from June 24th up until she came home September Labor Day weekend. But in January, I was working for this company and they had promised me a bonus because I had done a lot of work and trained a lot of people, and I was the only one that knew that software. So, we went on and on. I think it was May, almost a year ago, May, right before Labor Day weekend, I demanded that they give me my bonus check because it was supposed to be in January and February and March and all this. And they gave it to me. And it was roughly $3,500. But the problem was Jada had some very expensive tests done because she was going into her 1 year. So she was going to turn 1. So she had occupational therapy tests done, physical therapy tests done, hearing, and these are expensive. But because I made over the amount that I was supposed to in May, Medicaid did not cover any of those tests, and I was billed for them, even though I didn't get that check until the last end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a huge amount of money now that I have to pay. Fast forward to Kaya, my second daughter, who was born again October 14th and died October 21st. Medicare was about to cover her because, again, she was 23 weeks and she was a extreme preemie. But because she lived and died, passed away in the same month, they did not cover any of her expenses. Now, if she was born like October 31st and she died November 6th, the same amount of days, everything would have been covered. But because she passed away or she was born and passed away in the same year or in the same month, nothing was covered. So there is where all these medical bills and all this stuff came out, and it took me years to get out of it. That is when I talked to all 3 of those people I mentioned before and talked about the Social Security policy that you have. Even though I was in a good state, that one devastating move of me getting a couple $1,000s as a bonus devastated my finances, because all of a sudden I hold all these medical bills, and they weren't just medical bills. It was different treatment bills and all the other medicines and stuff that I had to reimburse or give back because it wasn't covered. If you haven't gone, and I wish that on anyone, but that's a policy thing that I can talk about to my representatives that does happen to thousands of people
every day. Yep.
And I remember, at the time I was going, this was a year after, so I don't know if you watched MSNBC, but there was a show back then. I don't know if it's still on. It was like the Morning Joe, and Joe Scarborough, which I think he was the Republican incumbent or person that was talking. He was going through the same thing because he just had a premature child, and he and I and woeing about, his particular things. And I'm just like, oh my God, he actually has the money to do this. What about the people who don't have that money? And especially since the infant mortality rate in Milwaukee was so bad. This is a policy that I brought up. Now, I know they had done some work on it and they were looking at some issues, but if I didn't go through that, how would I be able to tell? We're going to take a short little break and we're going to come back, 414-444-5250. And then we'll kind of ask people for the last 15 minutes, where do you get your information?
Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org.
The three pillars of Wisconsin Voices are protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, and building community. Learn more about Wisconsin Voices and our partners at wisconsinvoices.org. Stay up to date on our community events page and get involved by visiting our donation page.
How y'all doing today?
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing all right. Listen, my comment on where I find my information out about a candidate, if they haven't been in the district and they're running as I guess somebody's running against each other or whatever they're doing, if the incumbent is there and there's somebody, I always ask somebody who knows them. Number one, to get them out in public is, that's different. I haven't seen too many like a town hall or a debate or anything, especially in this past election. I didn't know they were having a debate if they had one. It wasn't publicized. I don't know where they're putting the information at, but everybody's not on Facebook and everybody's not on. And if you look at the climate of the seniors and including myself, we don't go on certain medias or we're not using a computer. I have, when you have a 5G on your phone, which some people don't know, you can get the email and you can find out a lot of things. But the other part is, for the most part, being a seasoned veteran anyway, I think I made up my mind who I was going to vote for to begin with. And this may be true with some people. But for me, I know who I was going to vote for in the last election and the election before that, when it came down to the national every 4 years. Now, when it comes down to aldermanic, county supervisors, state representatives, state assembly, state senators, and all like that, I think I kind of can figure out who is who. And sometimes people will call me and say, do you know this about this, that, or the other person? Well, in my only opinion, and I can't give a statement of fact. In my opinion, this is what's been going on with this person. Look at what bills or how they act with community. If they can't come to you, if you ask them, can you come to the neighborhood to a block party or something like that? People need to be asking some little simple questions like, can you come and do this? Can you come and do that? And be real and hold people to task. And I think this is what's going on that's wrong now. People are assuming somebody's taking care of their business. That may not be the case. It may be something else. I wish people would take a good look at the voting population and what they're doing, what each candidate is doing, whether it's a special election or whether it's a regular county. And I wish they would, get out and vote more and all that kind of stuff. Those are my opinions. Not a statement of fact, but if you look at the data.
Well, some of the stuff you were stating fact, which is the fact that you knew who you were going to vote for. You stated a fact that you do some research right now for these elections. So the elections coming up, I really don't think there's a lot going on yet, just for the fact that the signatures are due on the 3rd and the 4th of June. Mm-hmm. So we don't even know who's on the ballot yet. Well, I think
I thought that was a given with the new the senator election. I thought Lakeisha and the other lady that was already in the assembly up there, I thought that they had their signatures in and they were on.
No, their signatures for the special election is, they have said they were running, but the signatures, they have to collect 200 to 400 signatures, and those for the special election is due, I believe it's June 4th. Mm-hmm. For the regular election, it's June 3rd. So, so it hasn't been officially yet. But I thank you, Miss. We have go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Well, we'll keep you posted on that. We have another caller. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah. Excuse me. This is JT. Good afternoon. Should I say good morning to you at Wisconsin Voices and your diverse group? I'd just like to say good morning to all of you being there.
Good morning.
And good morning. Good morning. And one thing I want to say, thank you so much. I just called in not to say anything in particular. I just called in to give y'all some kudos.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for being there and sharing what you know. And thank you for watching out for the community. Because as you know, when it comes to voting, they've been trying to, the Republican Party back in the days, JT used to call them, Ku Klux Klan Republican Party, trying with Donald Trump to make it what? And you know?
Oh, no comment. I'm just letting you talk.
Well, I try not to be Mr. Google or anything like that. But however, what I would like to say, the great people we have in the community, regardless of what their status quo is, sometimes having people like yourself is very diverse coming on and sharing with the community and doing the best you can is respectful. So all that I want to just say is, again, thank you so much for being there. Miss Action, what is it? Action what?
Oh, my name? I'm Tamika.
Tamika, thank you, dear.
Thank
and
you.
Who's the other people that's there?
Joe.
I'm Joe. Yep.
Hey, Joe, thank you for being there, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Who did I miss?
Nobody else is on the show today but Joe and I. And then we have the people that run this show, Jermaine and
I know the rest of the people.
Oh, right. We're talking about Latoya is off today. Brian will be back tomorrow.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But what I want to say though, I want to say thank you for being there, Action Wisconsin, because back in the days when I came back home from the war after serving in Vietnam in the Marine Corps, I used to hang out with Commander Mike McGee and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we just tell the truth. Which to say that, it's my segue is getting out of here, getting in conclusion. I just want to say thank you all for being there, telling the truth about it. And thank you for watching out for the community.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. Appreciate it so much. Like Wisconsin Voices is a nonpartisan organization. We do things that are partner driven. Our partners tell us what issues they want to look at or serve. We are community driven. Our base is BIPOC and marginalized people. So those are the Black, Indigenous, people of color, people who don't have a voice, disabled, people who can't just get out and their voices is low or low. That's why we're pushing the Amplify Your Voice. That's why we are pushing Civic 101 and we're pushing different things because we really want people to be informed and we want the information out there. One of the things that you can do if you want to the Civics 101 presentation, Wisconsin, and it'll be on our website a little bit later on today. We are doing a Civics 101 presentation on June 12th. And that you can go on our website, click on Civics 101. And after a little bit later on this afternoon, and we'll remind you tomorrow, you'll be able to register to take that. And that is going to be June 12th from 5:30 to 7:30. We have some other ones. We have another one that's going to be happening on June 18th. And that one, I believe, is at the Holocaust Museum. And then we have another one in August and one in September. But and anybody who wants to do a private one, like at their churches, we have done it at a couple of churches. Please let us know because we're really trying to give information out there. We do talk about elections. We talk about your elected officials. We give you as much information for your community as we can because we'll do this all over the place. We'll go to Oshkosh. We'll go to Green Bay. We'll give you your information that you need for your community and do it. And just trying to educate people on how to go what do you need to look for when you are trying to do a complaint? Who do you need to talk to? What is local government? What is state government? What is federal government? Sometimes you have an issue and you think it's, a local problem, but it's a federal problem and the local people can't do anything about it. We hope, and the whole goal and the reason why Wisconsin Voices has this radio show is to make sure we give information out, to have people ask questions. Again, on wisconsinvoices.org, there is a sign there that says amplify your vote and amplify your voice. I'm sorry, we're asking you for what questions you would like to the state elected or the people that are on the ballot starting in August, or starting when the signature collection is over, asking them, what questions do you want, or a topic that you would like us to discuss. So far, we haven't really got too many topics. We got a couple of questions, but please, wisconsinvoices.org, that is where we want, this is where you can amplify your voice.
And opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices, but are those of the host and guests of this particular show, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsements or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit wisconsinvoices.org.
Visit wisconsinvoices.org.
Visit wisconsinvoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voices.